Mu's 6 eyes widened. "This is why you didn't destroy our ships." "We had no desire to kill," Jin said, "even those who wronged us. Yet you built hundreds of these vessels." "We needed to ensure our safety," Jin replied. "But now that we have peace, they can serve a better purpose." In the weeks that followed, human diplomats arrived on worlds across the galaxy. They brought gifts of technology that their scientists had developed during their isolation. Medical advances that could cure diseases the Council had fought for generations. Energy systems that were cleaner and more efficient than anything the other species had created. On the Alferi homeworld, Officer Park worked with crystal engineers to develop new ways to power their cities. The Alferi had always been suspicious of outsiders, but they could not deny the benefits of human innovation. "How did your people advance so quickly?" an Alferi scientist asked Park as they tested a new energy converter. "Necessity," Park answered simply. "When you locked us away, we had to become self-sufficient. We had to solve problems with only the resources of one planet." "And now?" the scientist asked. "What will humans do now that you have the galaxy open?" "To you again?" Park smiled. "Explore. Learn. Make friends. The things we always wanted to do." On the Majurian homeworld, Commander Han met with Councillor Day. The telepathic Majurians had been among the first to support humanity's return to the Council. "Your minds are different now," Day said as they walked through a garden of floating plants. "When I touch human thoughts, they are more organized than before, more purposeful." 200 years of working toward a single goal changes a species, Han replied. "Every child born on Earth knew their purpose was to break the barrier and return to the stars." "And now that you have succeeded," Day asked, "now we find a new purpose, one we can share with the rest of the galaxy." 6 months after humans joined the Council, Captain June stood on the observation deck of the Phoenix, looking down at Earth. The energy barrier that had imprisoned humanity for 2 centuries was gone. Ships from a dozen alien worlds orbited the planet, establishing trade routes and cultural exchanges. "Captain," a young officer said, approaching him, "Admiral Jin is requesting your presence. The Council has approved our proposal for the restoration project." June nodded. "Thank you, officer. I'll be there shortly." He remained at the window a moment longer, watching his homeworld. The planet looked different now, greener in some places where Phoenix-class ships had helped heal environmental damage. From humanity's industrial past, they had changed during their exile. They had grown stronger, smarter, more unified, but they had not become the conquerors the Vaxians had feared. Instead, they had returned with gifts and knowledge to share. As he turned to leave, June remembered the words Commander Min had spoken 200 years ago. "We will return." She had been right. Humanity had returned, not for revenge, but to claim their rightful place among the stars, not as conquerors, but as equals. And no species would ever again mistake human patience for weakness. "Gather all our forces and destroy the Phoenix while it waits. Without their flagship, the humans will retreat." Several councillors nodded in agreement. Meanwhile, on the Phoenix, June and his officers watched the Council's private discussions through hidden sensors they had placed during their visit. "They're planning to attack," Commander Han said, her face serious as she listened to Tech's plotting. June sighed. "I expected this. The Vaxians will never accept us as equals. Are our defenses ready?" "Yes, Captain," Officer Park replied. "And I've prepared the second data package as well. Let's hope we don't need it," June said. 2 hours later, a massive fleet of 500 Council ships surrounded the Phoenix. They represented every major species in the Council, the 6-armed Vaxians, the crystalline Alferi, and the telepathic Majurians. On the Council flagship, Overseer Mu looked troubled as Tech gave orders to the combined fleet. "Councillor, this was not our decision," Mu objected. "The Council vote was split. We agreed to continue negotiations." "Negotiations from a position of strength," Tech replied. "Once they see our full power, they will accept more reasonable terms." On the Phoenix's bridge, June watched the enemy ships move into attack positions. "They're powering weapons," Han reported. "No surprise there," June said calmly. "Activate the shield, but take no aggressive action, and send the second data package to every ship in their fleet." Park pressed a button on his console. Transmission complete. Across the Council fleet, commanders suddenly found their screens filled with new information. They were classified records showing how the Vaxians had manipulated the original quarantine. There were also technical reports analyzing the Phoenix's capabilities and projections of what would happen if they attacked. The Council ships hesitated. Tech's voice came over the comm system. "Ignore this propaganda. Fire on my command." But the fleet remained still. On the Phoenix, June activated the ship-wide communication system. His voice carried to every vessel in the Council fleet. "This is Captain June of Earth. You have seen the truth about how humans were wrongfully imprisoned. Now you should know what will happen if you attack." He nodded to Park, who activated a new hologram that projected into space, visible to all ships. It showed a simulation of the coming battle, the Phoenix absorbing their weapons fire, then disabling their ships one by one without destroying them. "We do not wish to fight," June continued, "but we will defend ourselves, and we are not alone." At his signal, Han pressed another control. Around the star system, hundreds of human ships appeared, having dropped their cloaking shields. They had bypassed all Council detection systems, positioning themselves throughout the system without anyone noticing. One by one, commanders of the Council ships reported the new vessels on their scanners. "We are surrounded," an Alfiri captain reported to Tech. "Impossible," Tech shouted. "This is another trick." "No trick," came a new voice over the communication system. All eyes turned to their screens to see an elderly human woman on the bridge of another massive ship that had just appeared near the planet. "I am Admiral Jin, Supreme Commander of the Human Fleet." Overseer Mu recognized her face immediately. She looked remarkably like Commander Min, the last human diplomat from 2 centuries ago. "We have waited a long time for this day," Admiral Jin said. Her voice was strong, despite her age. "You can choose war, in which case we will disable your ships and take control of your homeworld. Or you can choose peace, and we will sit together as equals at the Council table." She paused, letting her words sink in. "Humanity has never wanted domination. We wanted recognition, we wanted respect. The choice is yours, but I suggest you choose wisely." On the Council flagship, Tech's face darkened with rage. But around him, the other councillors were already moving to restrain him. Mu stepped forward. "Admiral Jin, Captain June, on behalf of the Galactic Council, I request an immediate ceasefire and the resumption of negotiations. The terms you have proposed will be given full consideration." Jin and June exchanged a look through their communication screens. "We accept," they said together. 1 month after the standoff, the Galactic Council chamber was transformed. A new seat had been added to the circle of high chairs where the senior representatives sat. Admiral Jin walked slowly toward it, her back straight despite her age. Her uniform gleamed with simple silver decorations that matched the insignia. Her grandmother, Commander Min, had worn 2 centuries earlier. The chamber was packed. Representatives from every species had come to witness this historic moment. Even those who had opposed adding humans to the Council could not deny the significance of today. Overseer Mu stood as Jin approached. "Admiral Jin, do you accept the responsibilities and duties of Council membership? Do you swear to uphold the laws of our galactic community and to represent your species with honor?" "I do," Jin said, her voice clear and strong. "Then take your seat, representative of Earth and all human colonies." Jin sat in the new chair. A cheer went up from the human delegation, watching from the side of the chamber. Many other species joined in. Not all. The Vaxians remained silent, their posture stiff with disapproval. Former Councillor Tech was not present. After his unauthorized attack plan had failed, he had been removed from his position and now faced charges for falsifying the original records about humanity. After the ceremony, Jin met with Overseer Mu in a private chamber. Through the window, they could see the Phoenix in orbit, its strange living metal shimmering in the sunlight. "Your ship is remarkable," Mu said. "Many Council members fear what other weapons you might have developed during your isolation." Jin smiled. The Phoenix was never designed primarily as a weapon. She activated a small device projecting a hologram between them. It showed the Phoenix approaching a dead planet. The ship extended parts of itself into the atmosphere. Slowly, the air began to clear. Plants started to grow. It heals planets, Jin explained. It can restore ecosystems destroyed by war or industrial damage. The same technology can be adapted for medicine to heal people. For today, June said simply, the day we return to claim our place in the galaxy. In the back of the chamber, an elderly Vaxian counselor whispered to his aide, "Call for the defense fleet, now." June turned to look directly at him. "I wouldn't recommend that, counselor. The Phoenix detected your ships moving into attack position 5 minutes ago." On the main view screen, 30 Vaxian warships approached the Phoenix. They fired in unison. Their weapons had no effect. The energy was simply absorbed into the Phoenix's hull, making the blue lights pulse brighter. Then, without firing a shot in return, the Phoenix emitted a pulse of its own. All 30 warships went dark, floating powerless in space. "Now," said June, turning back to Overseer Mu, "shall we discuss humanity's terms for peace?" The council chamber was tense. Captain June stood at the center with his 2 officers, while the alien representatives whispered among themselves. The failed attack by the Vaxian fleet had changed everything. "Your ship disabled 30 warships without destroying any of them," Overseer Mu said, his 6 eyes blinking rapidly. "How is this possible?" June nodded to the female officer beside him. "Commander Han will explain." Commander Han stepped forward. She was tall with short black hair and calm eyes. She activated a small device on her wrist. A hologram appeared showing the inner workings of the Phoenix. "The Phoenix is unlike any ship you have seen," she said. "It is semi-organic. It learns. It adapts. When your ships attacked, it absorbed their energy and used it to disable their systems without harming the crews." "Semi-organic?" asked an Alferi representative, his crystal body glowing with curiosity. "You mean it is alive?" "In a way, yes," Han replied. 200 years ago, while studying the barrier, we discovered microscopic life forms in Earth's deepest oceans. Silicon-based organisms that could bond with metals and technology. We formed a partnership with them. The hologram changed to show tiny, shimmering creatures merging with machine parts. The Phoenix can heal itself. It grows stronger with each challenge, and it is only one of many such ships we have built. Counselor Day stood up, her skin rippling with anger. "This is a violation of natural order. You have enslaved another species to serve as your weapons." "No," said the second human officer, a man with grey hair who had been silent until now. "You misunderstand. These beings cannot survive in space without our technology, and our ships cannot achieve their full potential without them. We are partners, not masters and slaves." Murmurs spread through the chamber. The idea was revolutionary and frightening. "This is Officer Park," June introduced. "Our chief scientist. He has brought something else to share with you." Park held up a data crystal. "With your permission, I would like to access your central archives." Mu hesitated, then nodded to a technician. Park handed over the crystal, and moments later documents appeared on the main screen. They were old council records, stamped with high-level security codes. "What is this?" Mu demanded. "The truth," said June. 200 years ago, humanity was quarantined based on falsified data. These are the original reports about human behavior, which were altered before being presented to the council. The representatives stared at the screen as current records were displayed side by side with the originals. The differences were clear. Where the official records showed humans initiating conflicts, the originals showed them responding to attacks. Where humans were portrayed as reckless and dangerous, the originals described them as adaptive and innovative. These records were sealed by Overseer June himself, Park explained, along with Councillor Pack of the Madurians and the Vaxian High Command. All eyes turned to the Vaxian representatives, who shifted uncomfortably. "The Vaxians feared us," June continued. "Not because we were violent, but because we adapted too quickly. They saw how fast we learned, how quickly we adopted and improved technologies. They feared that in a few generations we would surpass them." The old Vaxian counselor in the back stood up. "These are lies. This data is fabricated." June looked at him calmly. "The data comes from your own archives, Councillor Tech. You were just a junior officer then, but your name appears in several of these reports as an assistant to the High Command." Tech's face darkened with anger. Even if this were true, you have violated council law by breaking quarantine. You should be destroyed for this alone. Captain June's expression hardened. We did not break your laws. We overcame an unjust punishment, based on lies, and destroying us. He paused. I don't think that's possible anymore. He activated his wrist device again. A new hologram appeared, showing hundreds of ships similar to the Phoenix, waiting just outside the star system. We have established 17 colonies beyond council space, June said. We have developed technologies you cannot imagine. We have made allies with species you have never encountered. He looked around the chamber. We did not come seeking revenge. We came seeking justice. The chamber fell silent as the council members stared at the hologram of the waiting fleet. What do you want? Overseer Mu finally asked, his voice barely audible. 3 things, June replied. First, the immediate end of Earth's quarantine. Second, reparations for 2 centuries of imprisonment. And third, he paused, a human seat on the Galactic Council. The chamber erupted in voices once more, but this time there was less outrage and more fear. Fear of what would happen if they refused. The council members argued for hours after Captain June presented his demands. Their voices echoed in the Grand Chamber as they debated what to do about the humans' return. Some wanted to negotiate, others insisted on fighting, despite the evidence of the Phoenix's power. Overseer Mu finally raised his hand for silence. We must discuss this privately, he told June. Return in 3 hours for our answer. June nodded. Of course, we will wait on our ship. As the humans left, Councillor Tech of the Vaxians moved quickly to speak with other representatives. His 6 arms gesturing wildly as he went from group to group. We cannot give in to these demands, Tech insisted to a cluster of councillors. If humans gain a seat on the council, they will soon control everything with their advanced technology. Councillor Day's skin rippled in disagreement. But if we refuse, their fleet might attack. You saw what one ship did to 30 of our best warships. That was a trick, Tech said. One ship cannot be so powerful. We should jihad. The day everything changed started like any other. The sun rose over Earth, painting the sky orange and gold. In the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council, Overseer June sat on his high seat, looking down at the representatives of 100 alien species. He tapped a silver rod against the metal floor 3 times. The room fell silent. Today we decide the fate of the most dangerous species in the galaxy, June said. His 6 eyes blinked in sequence. Humans have proven themselves too unpredictable, too violent and too ambitious. Councillor Pack of the Madurians stood. Her skin shimmered like the surface of a pond. We have tried to guide them. They refuse to listen. They refuse to change. Behind a glass barrier, Commander Min watched the proceedings with clenched fists. She was the last human diplomat allowed in the chamber. For 2 years, she had fought to convince the council that humans deserved a place among the stars. For 2 years she had failed. Overseer Jun turned toward her. The evidence speaks for itself. Humans have started 3 interplanetary conflicts in a single decade. They take what does not belong to them. They build weapons when they should build bridges. We are young, Min argued. Every species makes mistakes in their youth. The Vaxians destroyed entire moons before they learned restraint. The Alfiri once shattered their own planet. The Alfiri representative's crystal body glowed red with anger. We have evolved. You have not. The vote was quick and unanimous. Earth would be quarantined behind an energy barrier. All human colonies would be evacuated. Billions of people would be forced back to their home planet, never to leave again. As soldiers escorted her from the chamber, Min stopped and turned to face Jun. Remember this day, she said. Her voice did not shake. Remember it well, because humans do not stay down for long. You fear what you do not understand. And you do not understand us at all. Jun waved his hand dismissively. Your species lacks the discipline and knowledge to overcome our technology. This decision is final. The next morning, Min stood on the observation deck of the last human ship to leave council space. Below, Earth was already surrounded by a shimmering bubble of energy. No signals could pass through. No ships could enter or leave. Her home was now a prison. Captain, we're ready to make the jump, said Officer Sue at her side. Min nodded. Send, One last message to Earth before the barrier is complete. Sue raised an eyebrow. What shall I tell them, Commander? Min looked out at the stars, at the vastness that was now forbidden to her people. Her eyes were dry. Her voice was sure. Tell them to remember who they are. Tell them this is not the end. Tell them we will return. On the Council homeworld, Jun watched the human ship disappear into the darkness. He felt relief, but also a strange unease. Something about Commander Min's final words had troubled him. Your concerns are unnecessary, said Councillor Pack, reading his thoughts as all Madurians could. Their technology is primitive. The barrier will hold for 1,000 years. Jun nodded, but in his mind, he still heard Min's voice. Remember this day, we will return. He pushed the thought away. Humans were trapped. The galaxy was safe. The matter was closed. He was wrong. 200 years passed. In the Grand Council chamber, things had barely changed. Overseer Mu sat where Jun once did, looking over the gathered representatives with the same 6 eyes. The meeting today was routine: trade agreements, border disputes, and resource allocation. Moving to the next item, Mu said, his voice carrying. Through the vast hall. The Alferi request additional mining rights in the Centauri sector. Suddenly, alarms blared. Red lights flashed across the ceiling. The chamber's giant view screen activated automatically. What is happening? Mu demanded. The security chief, a tall Vaxian named Rin, rushed to his console. Something just appeared above the planet. Something big. On the screen, a massive ship hung in space. It was unlike any vessel they had seen before. Its hull gleamed, with a metallic surface that seemed to flow like water. Strange blue lights pulsed along its sides. It was at least 3 times larger than the Council's biggest battleship. Scan it, ordered Mu. Rin's 6 hands moved quickly over the controls. I can't get clear readings. The material is... It's blocking our scanners, but the design... His voice trailed off. What about the design? Mu pressed. Mu. It has human elements. A shocked silence fell over the room. The Alferi representative's crystal body dimmed with disbelief. Impossible, said Councillor Day of the Madurians. The barrier cannot be broken. No human technology could... A transmission. Cut her off. The view screen changed to show the bridge of the mysterious ship. A human man stood there. He wore a simple black uniform with silver trim. His face was calm, confident. This is Captain Jun of the HMS Phoenix, he said. The quarantine is broken. Humanity requests an audience. Chaos erupted in the chamber. Some representatives shouted for weapons to be deployed. Others called for immediate evacuation. Mu slammed his silver rod against the floor repeatedly. Silence, he finally roared. When order returned, he addressed the human. This is impossible. How did you break through the barrier? Jun smiled slightly. We studied it. We learned from it. Then we surpassed it. Your ship cannot have come from Earth, said Rin. Our monitors show the barrier is still active. The barrier is now meaningless to us, Jun replied. We keep it in place, only to protect Earth from those who might seek revenge for our return. Mu exchanged glances with his advisors. They had no choice. We will grant your audience, human, but your ship must remain in its current position. Of course, said Jun. 3 hours later, Captain Jun walked into the council chamber, flanked by 2 human officers. The crowd fell silent as they approached the center of the room. Many had never seen a human in person before, only in historical records. So, Mu said, looking down at them. Explain how you are here. When you locked us away, Jun began, you thought you were containing a problem. Instead, you created something new. Humanity united as never before. We had one enemy, one obstacle, your barrier. He tapped a small device on his wrist. A hologram appeared, showing Earth surrounded by the energy barrier. We studied it from the inside, every frequency, every pattern. We decoded the technology behind it, and in doing so we learned much more than you intended. The hologram changed to show a strange, flowing material, the same substance as the Phoenix's hull. We discovered something in Earth's deep oceans, a silicon-based life form that could merge with our technology. We formed a partnership with these beings. They helped us create ships like the Phoenix, part machine, part living organism. Councillor Day leaned forward. And the power source. For such a vessel, June smiled. A contained artificial star. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Such technology was theoretically possible, but had never been successfully implemented. While you watched our planet, June continued, believing us trapped, we found ways to slip through the cracks in your barrier, small ships at first, exploring beyond your borders. We established colonies in regions you never patrol. We built our strength. We waited. For what? Asked Mu, his voice quiet.